Joining us today, Jeffrey Rapattoni, shareholder and member of the board of directors at Marshall Dennehey, always up on the national trends with the justice system as it relates to the insurance industry. Thanks for being with us again today.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
I want to talk about the courts today and talking about claims litigation and fraud investigations. I think sometimes the court can get in the middle of that relationship between the carrier and the customer in not such a good way.
I would agree with you. I mean, the courts, at least for the last 12, 13 months, we've seen the courts intervening in cases and kind of rewriting policy terms and conditions against the insurance industry, which is troubling. And the reality of it is the changes to the policy terms and conditions lend itself to empowering a plaintiff's bar that's, quite frankly, already empowered enough. And so what is that going to do? Well, it's going to feed more litigation. More litigation into the courts is going to make the judges, I think, less likely to hear legitimate arguments based in sound principles of insurance fraud. And so we don't want the courts so oversaturated with litigation that when you have that really great case, you don't get their full attention because we're so tied up in fighting these other cases relative to changing terms and conditions that are being forced upon us. In jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and Kentucky, we're seeing the judges almost force these arguments into their courtrooms. And my fear is that that's going to lessen the impact of a good case, of a legitimate fraud defense or an affirmative fraud case in that same judge's courtroom.
So what can we be doing as an industry to pull the courts out of this relationship?
Yeah, I think what we have to do is just be cognizant that this is going on. We have to realize, well, I'm in New Jersey and it doesn't really impact me in New Jersey. We're talking about other jurisdictions. I think that's the wrong attitude. I think we have to realize that it's one industry and a case in California can very well impact us here in New Jersey. So we have to be cognizant of what's going on in this industry from a national perspective. Take notice of that. Make sure that those sins in those other states don't come back and haunt us, and we likewise don't help the courts into making bad case law.
It's 2020. We can't not talk about technology. How does technology play a role in this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, look, from the simplest form, better customer service in these times equals a better customer retention. And so it's a business principle, but we have to be conscientious of that, not just in insurance, but also in law. Tech is the engine that's going to get us there. We're not going to be able to see the successes that we've had in this traditional insurance environment without making more of a capital investment into technology. Again, I'm not saying that we didn't invest in technology before, but I think we're going to have to make more of an investment in technology and really leverage that technology to see how it gives us that competitive edge, especially from a customer satisfaction standpoint.
Absolutely. There's some similarities between the insurance industry and the justice system. The justice system being predicated on the idea of fairness and justice, and the insurance industry all about honesty, right? If we treat the industry honestly, it gives us exactly what we need from it. So tie this all together for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, if your technology is sound, if your process is clean, you're going to find success. Especially in this post-COVID environment. That's really how it ties itself together. Self-awareness for the future, self-awareness in how the courts are looking at us and the times around us. Those are things we need to focus on. Those are the things that are going to drive success in the future.
It sounds cliche, but I think time will tell. I think there's still a lot to be seen of the results of COVID and how it's affecting the insurance industry and their customers and litigation and all these things. So I think we should regroup sometime soon and catch up and keep an eye on these trends as they unfold. But for now, appreciate the insights, appreciate the thoughts. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.